gradually it's becoming really, really clear and frightening that the education, higher ed is being transformed in ways that will affect our ability to get contracts, to basically, and more importantly, to do our jobs. There are a lot of forces that are at work. The biggest one, and one of the triggers, is declining state education. After World War II, we had the GI Bill, and higher ed was seen as a common good, and it produced magnificently. That generation is now passing, and so is the lesson that we learned. My grandfather worked on the docks. He was a disabled Marine, union guy, and his son probably would have worked at the docks, except he went away to war, came back, and went to Columbia, which was unthinkable for a Irish kid from Queens. And so there are a lot of stories like that, but we've lost that in this country. We have the rise of for-profits, the Phoenixes, but more insidiously, the idea that universities should make money as opposed to educate. And this has been creeping in. We have the rise of a professional class of administrators who can migrate around. They don't stay long. They just need to do enough so they get their next job. The administrators don't tend to come out of the faculty. We have the rise of adjuncts who and I hope Kauai doesn't have this problem, but say in the Bay Area, there may be people who have to go to 4 different institutions in a single day to teach, and they get peanuts. With the decline in tuition, we have with the decline of state support, we have a rise in tuition. And this means that students are getting, have to pay for it, their families do. So they're piling up debt. And the debt now is, for students, is about equal to the credit card debt. So some of our students are crippled for life repaying this thing. They can't declare bankruptcy. They've just got to pay it until they die. And that means it's hard to raise a family, hard to buy stuff like cars to help the economy, forget a house. And they can't take risks. McDonald's or Starbucks is much safer than, they're not going to found a company because they can't afford it. So all these things are creeping in. The sort of an idea that you can purchase a degree, you don't have to earn it. We have the idea of return on investment, which is a commercial term, but now you see the idea that, English return on investment's not as good as so-and-so. And so it becomes buying a career rather than an interest in education. I'm exaggerating a little, but not so much. Locally, we've got to figure out what UH is, and maybe I'm disadvantaged. At Manoa, we don't really know why we're there. It keeps changing. I think the community colleges have a better sense of mission. But then how do they fit together? And are all of them going to grow up to be 4-year colleges? Is that what we want or we need? I sort of have a joke that, and this is not, don't throw anything at me, but all the CCs want to become Maui. Maui wants to become Hilo. Hilo wants to become Manoa, and West Oahu has no idea what they're doing. And it changes every year. So what is UH? Is it just a bunch of different parts? Maybe that's safer. And that's one of the things that the faculty need to help with, because left to their own, the regents and the ledge will either have will have bad ideas, or they'll have no ideas at all. And finally, and I thought this wasn't a problem, but we're seeing the rise of those part-time lecturers in particular units. And they're cheaper, they're really tempting. You can get rid of them as enrollment goes up and down, but they don't do the stuff that professors do, that stuff, those horrible committees that are actually very valuable. And so are we going to have sort of faculty or lecturers who are like students, they show up, teach, and go home, or is there something more focused that the faculty do, pulling things together?